What's good, everyone? This your main correspondent, Alan Taylor, and I'm back in the broadcast room yet again with another one. Okay, so, let's go here. Right now, we on Vice TV, you know what I'm saying? Well, not Vice TV, but we on Vice, Real Talk, being a man, modernist and traditionalist, debate masculinity, a Vice debate. I mean, I applaud the topic and trying to have the debate because, you know what I'm saying, these things have to be talked about here in the 21st century, It's becoming a very trying time to just be, who you were born as. And, with everybody having their different ways and different opinions and things like that, nobody wants to actually stick to what's actually been working all these thousands of years. But I mean, hey, that's neither here nor there. But I mean, it is what it is, though. But let's dive off into it a little bit. We're going to kind of get it. It's going to be a little chopped up, but, let's check it out. Let's see here. Let's go.
What it means to be a man or to be masculine.
My name is Tahoe. I'm a black man from the hood. When I was young, being a man, you had to be tough. You had to be hard. And now, to me, being a man is a lot different. Now, to me, being a man is knowing when to be soft. Knowing that you don't always have to run the charge. You can actually listen. You know what I mean? So things have changed a lot over the course of the years for me.
I'm Griffin, and I don't identify as a man. I'm non-binary. I still have elements of, my identity that are masculine, elements that are feminine, elements that don't fall within that range. And I personally just don't feel tied to the norms or the confines of gender at all.
Well, welcome.
My name is Dylan, and I think that the notion of masculinity is just something that can be possessed by man or woman. Man, woman, non-gender conforming person. What it means to be masculine is just changing and very fluid. But I think that, masculinity is something that just, you embody based off of just how you show up in this world as a man and just how you go about being your day-to-day.
How you show up. Interesting.
Yes.
What's up, guys? My name is Paul. I'm a fitness entrepreneur. I'm an immigrant. I came here when I was 4 years old with my family. It's kind of funny how we're talking about it. My take on masculinity is not about talking as much as doing. I think at its core, a man has to be efficient, competent, and be willing to do what it takes for themselves and their loved ones.
I was not always a good man. I was not always what you would call a healthy masculine man. And so as my life has changed, I've identified 5 points that I think make a truly masculine man masculine.
Okay.
I think point number 1 is a man who walks with God. Point number 2 is a man who stands on principle. Point number 3, which is a masculine man, is self-sacrificing. So someone who is willing to sacrifice for point 4, the people that he leads. A true man is a leader. And number 5, a masculine man is never a coward.
That's a lot there.
Yeah.
Let's get into that as we go on.
I think what it means to be a man is responsibility. As a man, it can come with a lot of power, and with great power comes great responsibility. In short words. That's it.
That's from Spider-Man, I think.
Yeah,
right?
that's what's
Ben.
James.
Well, my name is James Killen, former United States Marine turned Air Force officer. Got a couple combat tours, but I'm also a father of 3 girls who mellowed me out. The idea of masculinity is something that I find interesting because it is changing, and I can actually see those changes in myself. And I think that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do this panel.
Thanks for your service. Andre.
Hey, what's up? Yeah, men. I think my idea of a real man is, someone that gets the job done, and provides and all that. I don't even know what that means anymore, but yeah, I don't know. It's changing every day.
How do you think it's changing?
No, it just seems like everything is changing every day. It's like a new world order, so I don't, I have a hard time keeping up with stuff, so I feel like tomorrow it's going to be something else, and people are going to comment and be like, "You're wrong. It's this now."
It is hard to talk about some of this stuff because you feel like you might say the wrong thing.
I'm not really masculine myself, so I feel like I'm like the wrong person to ask.
Maybe the right person to ask. Christian.
What it means to be a man is to be a adult human male.
that's sort of a very formal definition, but I think that might be a good place to kick off, because there's a lot of talk, of writing, of research these days that says there's a crisis in masculinity. Is there a crisis in masculinity? And if so, like, what is that crisis?
The thing that I see is a lot of deconstructing generational trauma. The be a man, boys don't cry, you know, this, that, and the other thing. And I think that's actually one of the reasons why we see it as a crisis, because we're actually trying to redefine what it means to be a man, and none of us have any idea because we're just out here trying to be whoever we are.
That's right. I think that historically, being a man was rooted in patriarchy and misogyny. And now we realize how harmful that has been over the years. And so we don't really know how to define where we're supposed to be. And I think the reason that they're saying it's a crisis is because the box has gotten so small for just being, say, straight, just being a hetero, right? Because if you do anything, women judge you.
What do you mean anything?
If I dance a certain way, or if I wear my hair a certain way, if I dress a certain way, they go, real men don't do that. Real men don't do that. And so you get scared to move a certain way because you don't want to get judged or outed out of the accepted part of your community. And I think that kind of has us in an uproar, and we don't know where to be. Like, where's the safe place to be?
Okay. Here we go. We can kind of dive off into it a little bit. As you can clearly see what's going on here. You know, it's a lot. But I believe a few on the panel had pretty decent points about true masculinity. You know, the patriarchy situations and things like that. I mean, in life, you got to take the good with the bad. I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry. You know, clear point. We wouldn't have the proper oil we would not have the proper oil to turn into gasoline to drive our vehicles with if certain people didn't go to war. I mean, let's just keep this 100. Let's just keep this 100. Oh well, we don't need this. We don't need. That's bullshit. That is bullshit, people. You know you need these things. And yes, people have died because we needed stuff. Let's just keep this 100. So now, you know, the truth of masculinity is basically, you know, you want to know that you can take it there if necessary. But if it's not necessary to go there, then there's no need to go there.
So what the French toast is there to think about?
And that's just the God's honest truth. You know, masculine men tend to, yes, they get things done. They want to protect and provide. They want to be there to do whatever they can to help the situation become a better situation. Not to kill, steal, or destroy. That is not what masculinity is about. You know what I'm saying? Now I know clearly, you know, when certain men go out and do tragic things and stuff like that, you look at that, of course he's a man, so it's gotta be masculinity involved. I mean, it is what it is. You know, it's a toxic side to masculinity, just like it's a toxic side to femininity. I mean, let's just keep this 100 out here.
So what the French toast is there to think about?
You know, nobody wants to talk about the toxic side of femininity. It's just always toxic when it comes to a man. But here we go.
For men now, you know what I mean? And it's kind of disturbing.
You know, I was what you would call a toxic masculine male growing up. And I had good men that sewed into me, you know, they gave me good advice, but I never found manhood or never understood my place as a man until one day I humbled myself and I gave my life to the Lord Jesus Christ. And I'm telling you right now, walking with God changed my life forever.
Can you define toxic masculinity? Like,
I would say toxic masculinity is like what he was just saying, where you're using that leadership role or that aggressive nature in a harmful way to harm other people to get your way. So the biblical structure for manhood is very humble. It's self-sacrifice. It's not self-motivated, but it is motivated by principle and standing on what's right. So there is a clear-cut vision for manhood in the Bible that I live by, and I think our culture used to live by, and I think our culture has lost its way.
At one point, the culture did live by that standard.
What the French toast is there to think about?
Whether everybody like it or not, at one point the culture did live by that standard that was in the Bible of what masculinity is about. Like I just said before, masculinity is not running out doing a bunch of crazy shit expecting good results, or running out, you know what I'm saying, being overly intentional about things, or being overly crazy about stuff. No, masculinity is knowing when to hold them and when to fold them. You know what I'm saying? That old song, you know. Or knowing when to fight and when to leave it alone. Like, everything is not a fight. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to fight about everything. It's, you know, masculinity is not, it's not as complicated as we are trying to make this out to be. You know, and due to the fact that nowadays everybody have, you know, all these different preferences and things of the way that they feel like life should be led. And, you know, and in some cases, a lot of people are trying to push their own personal views of how they want to live their life out on other people to try to get them to live their life like them. Like, no, that's not how it goes. Okay, that's not how it goes either. But, you know, let's keep going for a sec here.
I think everybody sort of has a different definition of toxic masculinity. I don't find masculinity toxic in and of itself, but I do believe in bad men, and bad men exist. But does that mean every man is toxically masculine? No.
When you're talking about a crisis on masculinity, I think that there's a lack of understanding there. So it's like masculinity, being masculine isn't toxic. It's just like there are portions of it that you can dive into that make it toxic.
Because I think a lot of what we think of masculinity is tied into patriarchy, right? Which is to say, like, for the longest period of human history, like, men dominated women and got the lion's share of stuff.
I think a lot of times some people make masculinity into a caricature, like it has to be this alpha bro tough guy.
Exactly.
And I find the low-key guy who, you know, is a really great father and a great husband and maybe not like drinking raw eggs every day to be a lot more masculine than the alpha bro who's going and like banging 20 women per weekend and not a responsible man. I find it more masculine to be a good guy.
I think the background of this is that...
And, oh, Lord. Okay, here's the deal, you know what I'm saying? Here's the deal. You know, now, you know, we all clearly know what this young man's preference is. It is what it is. It is what it is. You know, I don't want to hear the bullshit. But he does have a damn point. Being a good man is being a masculine man. Okay, here we go. Being a good man is being a masculine man. You know what I'm saying? When you, yes, it's levels to the shit. You can be underly masculine, you can be overly masculine. You have to be right there in that middle. Being a good man means you're willing to help people. You're doing what you're supposed to do. You're being a productive citizen in society. You're trying your best to you know, do what you can to, you know, be the best human, first of all, that you can be. Second of all, if you're a father, be the best father. If you're a husband, be the best husband. You know what I'm saying? And also be the best friend that you can be to your people around you and family members and so forth and things like that. But, you know, yes, there is a level to where it gets very toxic. It gets, you know what I'm saying? But not every man, the majority of men are not even in that damn category.
What the French toast is there to think about?
I don't know, because a lot of people out here nowadays are trying to put every man in that category with the toxic side. And no, not every man is running around here shooting up schools, killing innocent people, raping folks. Not every man is out here doing this type of dumbass crap. So, you know, that's the problem. That's the problem in my eyes. You're trying to put all men inside this toxic side of the box instead of realizing that there's more actually good men out here than there are the toxic ones. Let's keep going.
We are saying that gender is this like real thing that has real ideas and implications. And Griffin, I'm wondering, as someone who identifies as non-binary, how does this conversation strike you?
Well, I think that it kind of becomes like irrelevant whether or not we attribute like having like a good ethical compass to being like masculine. Attributing that to like the gender constructs which we have made up, which are like somewhat pointless, like kind of just feed into needless roles that uphold the patriarchy without even knowing it. A lot of those things are just things that people should be doing because they're like morally right. Like if you're in a family, you should probably support your family. And I really don't think that it has to do with like your manhood.
These characteristics that we're talking about are baked into an old system of domestic life.
And I think that's actually where we get toxic masculinity. Like, none of us can really describe what it is, but we can see it when it happens.
So we learn it, right?
Yeah.
This is something we learned from the world. It's something we learned from like TV and shit, and it's maybe something we learned from our dads too. Tell me about your dad.
I'm a first-generation kid. My dad is from Guyana. Grew up in very humble beginnings, poor family. First time I remember my dad telling me he loved me was when I was 17. And he was like saying like he was proud of me because I was about to graduate high school and things like that, you know. I'm appreciative of all the other things, you know, being present as a provider, but in terms of like, you know, the conversation piece and like, oh, I want to talk to my dad about, you know, sex or something, or I want to talk to my dad about, oh, this person broke up with me and I'm feeling pretty sad about it. I didn't have those conversations.
So like emotional language as part of like how you talk to your dad.
Well, I mean, at that particular, seeing how old this man is right here, you know, we may be in the same age range. I don't know. It is what it is. But, you know, most men didn't have those types of talks back then, you know what I'm saying, and things like that. And, you know, sometimes, you know, of course, men were expected to be solid like rocks, you know, and now that, you know, women are screaming they want men more emotional and this and that, but at the same time, too, they don't want men emotional at all. So you want them to be emotional, but you don't want them emotional at all. And see, this is the problem that we're having here.
And what the French toast is there to think about?
This is the problem that we're having here. This is where it's drawing in the confusion of the situation that was already in place. Masculinity was already in place. Be it, you know, yes, you take the good with the bad. It has good and bad sides just like femininity do. But, you know what I'm saying, it was already in place. And it obviously had been working fine, else we wouldn't be here today. Let's just keep this 100. It had to been some type of rightness to it, else the world would have crashed, you know, millennia ago. So, you know, let's just keep going.
Yeah.
And my definition of manhood came solely from my relationship with God. It didn't come from my father. It didn't come from the good influences around me.
Is God a man?
Yeah, and God is a man. And God is a father, and he's a good father. He's a perfect father. And so I think there is a clear definition of manhood where I guess that's where I diverge from everyone else in the room. I believe manhood is clearly defined by God. It is the perfect example of what a man should be.
Christian, I see you nodding your head.
I grew up in a divorced home. When you do grow up in a broken home and you don't have a father in the home, you recognize how important sort of both males and females are in raising a child and being in the home.
There's a balance between, you know, masculine energy and feminine energy.
Absolutely.
And I feel like there's both within everybody. And so there's a balance that with masculine energy in itself that I think a lot of people have trouble trying to like reconcile within themselves. Like, yes, being a man, you work hard, you take care of your people, but you gotta be able to have that emotional side too, which is where the feminine energy comes in.
Y'all just like triggered something in my head when y'all was speaking about having both in the home. To me, I didn't really have it there. And it made me feel a way, but I think that I always wanted one. And so I wound up at a certain age going outside and trying to find what masculinity was outside. And so I went on the corner and there were 20 of us on the corner and none of us had dads. We were all messed up, and so we all taught each other the wrong way to love, to be loved. And then I think in society there's way more people like that.
And a lot of kids who don't have fathers in the home, look for that father in the world or in a different way.
Well, first I think that like attributing like proper family values to like a heterosexual couple with children is like just not effective. Like I think that it's obviously like a heteronormative take to be like man and woman and then a child, and that's how you create like a good family, whether it's like a single mother, single father, or like a queer couple. Like I don't think that it's necessary to like attribute men and women to like certain roles in the household. I think
No, there we go. Wrong right there. It is necessary to have clear lines of what everybody's supposed to be doing in life. This is just life here, people. It is necessary. You have to have clear lines of what it is that you're supposed to be doing. You know what I'm saying? Or else nothing will get done. Nothing will get done with all this just all over the damn place. It's just, You know, it's just up to the wind, and you know, if it happens, it happens. And no, nothing will ever get done like that. You know what I'm saying? You're supposed to have clear lines about who's supposed to be doing what, who's not supposed to be doing this, when they're supposed to do that, when they're not supposed to do this. There's supposed to be clear lines. You know, I definitely don't agree with that.
It's only due to nurture, those gender norms that we follow.
Male and female matters. God gives you one of those identities, you take on that role.
Right.
And now you're responsible for not or for fulfilling that role.
Now, what
There's
the
a masculine
French toast
crisis
is there to
because men are
think
not
about?
taking responsibilities for the God-given roles that they have in society. And so when you take away the need to say God made you this or God made you this, now you don't have to take responsibility for not fulfilling what you were called to do.
When you do that, you also take away other things that somebody else may do. If I have a woman or a partner that wants to take on certain roles and I say, hey, those are my roles that God gave me in society, now I'm suppressing that person. Like at the end of the day, we're all human beings. You define who you are and how you behave under God. That's what God gave us, free will.
But also, like, I think that the religious beliefs should not be used to, like, dictate how other people identify or how other people live their lives.
Humans need predictability, and when we put each other in these boxes, it gives us the opportunity to make decisions quickly. And I think that's what we're fighting is as a civilization at the moment, is the desire to put 7.5 billion people in specific boxes so that we can have some sort of predictability or stability in our lives.
And there we go. Right there. What did I say? What did I say about the time when you need to be able to do this and not be able to do this? Yes, when you live on this planet, there is a certain box that you're going to be in.
What is there to think about?
Okay, there is a certain box that you're going to be in. This is life, people. This is life. Just like there's no way for a fucking gerbil to be a damn lion. This is fucking life, people. You need to learn to accept it with all your newfangled ass technology and your dumb ass thought processes, and you're sitting around here thinking that this and that and whoop de woo and all that. Now, you know, people that don't want to live traditionally, that's understandable. Hey, live your life too. I'm not trying to stop you from living your life. But I'm gonna tell you this, for people that like structure, honor, duty, respect, and you know what I'm saying, and things like that, you know, all that outside the box, too far outside the box is not gonna get it there. You know what I'm saying? It's just not gonna get it there. There is a box to live in life. If you want certain type of peace and stability in life, that's just how it's gonna go.
I was an emotionally abusive young man in my 20s because I had an idea of what my wife should do, and it caused a lot of stress.
Why were you the way you were?
You know, I had a lot of anger. I had a lot of pent-up rage. I had, you know, some combat stress that I had to deal with also that I wasn't dealing with because men don't show emotion.
There is a social construct that benefits men. And so the responsibility that I've learned as I've gotten older is learning how to not enforce my power, learning over women, over people.
You're saying that role gives men more privilege, like an advantage and privilege. I'm saying that it is more self-sacrificing. I do not have free time. I do not have hobbies. I do not wake up during the day and do what I want to do, ever. I'm thinking about my wife, my kids, my business.
But that's your decision, and that's not like a mandatory thing of your masculinity.
Well, if you believe that God...
What are you talking about? Hold on. Hold on. I beg a difference. I bet you his wife won't say that. I bet you his wife won't say that when that doggone mortgage don't get paid. You know, damn what the blonde man in the dress talking about. Okay? And I'm not trying to, don't get me wrong. Shout out to the LGBT community. Listen, I have nothing against nobody. Mad love. I have friends and cousins who's LGBT, so I'm not tripping on nobody here. But at the end of the day, the thing of it is yes, if he don't get out there and pay that damn mortgage, the light bill, the rent, the gas, the car notes, the life insurance policies, shit like that, he will be ass out at the end of the day.
And what the French toast is there to think about?
And she will be gone. And we know this to be the truth. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry, but the individual that's talking, you know, that individual don't even date women like that. So it's a different understanding when you date women. Women looking for a different thing than what this individual is looking for. I'm just being honest.
God is true.
I don't.
And you believe that he is God, then you do have that responsibility.
What privilege are you referring to? Like, what privileges do men have?
We've constructed this entire society to benefit us.
Break it down. Like, what privileges exactly?
Like, we talk about the wage gap, or if you look at Roe versus Wade, men controlling women's bodies.
Even if there might be those privileges, there's...
Listen, people. Listen. At the end of the day, you want to sit around and talk about the wage gap, which has been debunked. There's no such thing. Okay? We all know this. Women just don't choose the jobs that pay like that. Okay? All right? Because they don't want to work 80 hours a goddamn week. Most women don't. Shout out to the ones that do. Ain't nobody knocking it. If that's what you want to do as a woman, shit, feel free. Hey, I'm all for you doing it, baby. Thank God for you. Okay? But we all know the majority of women in society do not want to work 80 plus hours a damn week. Come on, man. Come on. And now another thing here. You know, the Roe versus Wade situation. Now this is very sticky. We understand here. You know, it's all sticky and stuff like that. But the problem with that is that we're actually deleting more children than we're having to create to run society, and society would crash without people to replace you, because when your old ass get too old to work, who's gonna do the job?
What the French toast is there to think about?
That is the problem with you modern day people. You don't think for the future. You're only worried about what your dingbat ass is going through right now. You're not worried about if you actually able to make it to 80 years old and you need somebody to wipe your ass, but if the population of people are too small because we've been deleting all the babies from Roe versus Wade, then who's gonna be your nurse or who's gonna be your doctor? You fucking idiots.
There's also more men who commit suicide, more men incarcerated.
I think when you talk about like incarceration rates and things like that, like things that men are a victim of, I think that it's important to like recognize, like, I don't think that men are oppressed solely on the grounds that they're men. I think that men like experience oppression based on like the intersections of their identities, which is, you know, why we see like different like lower class jobs being worked by men, or like higher suicide rates, or like incarceration rates going up, because like men, like black men, brown men, indigenous men, queer men, trans men, etc. Those people like face oppression, they experience oppression, but it's not solely due to their identity as a man.
And I think dating and sex is probably a very interesting place to think about this, because it's changing field as far as like what people expect of each other.
I date in New York City a lot, and dating-wise, there's a lot that's like asked of a man. Like first dates are like nightmares.
I got a question. Yeah.
Dude, it's like, I'm like, what do you want? They got like a checkbox, like, are you gonna pick me up? Are you gonna walk on the outside of the sidewalk? Are you gonna open the door? Are you gonna pull out the seat? Are you gonna pay for the meal? Are you gonna be interesting during the dinner? Are you gonna be funny during the dinner? And then when you walk.
Okay, there you go, right there. Now, everything that young man just counted out, everything that young man just said, now, isn't all of that traditional stuff? Isn't all that traditional stuff? You know, as a man, you're supposed to walk on the outside of the woman, let her walk on the inside, so in case the car runs the ramp, you can get hit by her and things like that. And, you know, yeah. All that is traditional shit. Now, even this young man is still sitting out here saying that women are asking for traditional men. What comes with traditional men?
And what
masculinity.
The French toast is there to think about?
Walk home? Are you gonna drop me off? Are you gonna watch me walk inside? And then are you gonna text me after? And it's like trying to defuse a bomb. Like if you think you're like red wire, blue wire, and you're like one little thing and you're just done. And it's like, I'm to the point where I'm like, I'm so tired of like paying $150 for a first date, and then you just ghost me. And the next week I'm like hurting for cash. I'm like, I could have really used that $150. Like, why did I have to, you know what I'm saying?
Like, the trade-off of like going on a date and as the man being like, oh, this sucks, I have to pay, or as the woman being like, oh, this sucks, I might get murdered, is like a pretty big, you know, imbalance.
Whoa, 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 whoa. What the hell? Here we go. Now, here we go with all this. I'm talking about this is so clearly way outside the damn box.
And what the French toast is there to think about?
This is way outside the damn box. What the hell do you mean paying for a date and she might get murdered? Murdered by who? What are you talking about? Why are we steadily trying to perpetuate that men are out here just murdering women in droves? We just, you know, it's just every time a chick go on a date, they're just getting slaughtered. Come on, man. What the hell?
On a first date, should the man, or whoever identifies as the man on the date, pick up the check? Show of hands, who thinks yes?
Yeah, should is a weird.
Should's a weird way to put it.
Okay, sorry. How would you put it?
I very much love gender roles. I like masculine men, and I want my masculine man to pick the check up. My friends seem to be the same. My girlfriends seem to want that as well. But I have a male friend who was naturally doing that, and with the dates he was going on with women, they were offended that he took the check. So I think hey, if this woman doesn't want him to pay and she wants to show she can pay, go off.
I think it's a matter of preference. You know, if someone picked it up for you, you develop a kind of rapport or respect with that person. So be it. If the other person, you know, the woman you're with doesn't want that, then maybe it's not the match for that person. So I think it's dependent on the situation.
I think that there's such a thing as financial abuse. And men seem a lot of time, because they spend, that a woman has to be under them or owes them something.
I think that's when it gets toxic.
Me personally, I love to take care of my partner. I love that feeling that I give them, that they're taken care of when they're with me. And that's when it's with friends, anybody. If you're with me, I got you.
I guess what I'm hearing from you, Andre, is that there's a lot of pressure to inhabit the masculine side of the social expectation, and yet you might not get the benefit that you would have expected generations ago, and that puts you in a weird position.
Yeah, well,
He said it, I didn't. Let's go.
we live in a city where there's 8 million people, and you know, a lot of these girls, especially if you're really attractive, guys are hitting on them all day. So they feel like celebrities. You got so many options. I don't blame you. I'd be the same way. Becomes
Always somebody better.
I think technology has a big part to do with that now. Modern times, online dating, Instagram.
Especially as a girl, you're gonna have 30 DMs a day.
Yeah, the DMs.
You know what I'm saying? Swipe it up on your picture.
I think that's a big reason why it can be tougher for some men.
Not successful.
I think what he's saying is there's a toxicity to femininity as well. There is a toxic side to both genders.
I think anybody can be narcissistic, but I think that it's weird to randomly attribute that to women in New York because they're being complimented all day.
There's a term, it's called absolute power corrupts absolutely. So, but that is, when we're talking about masculinity, that's what we've had. We've typically had that. We can do whatever we want, and we.
That's a damn lie. Ain't no man on this planet always been able to do whatever the hell they want. That is a damn lie.
What the French toast is there to think about?
It's a lot to think about in this situation here. But yeah, though, I just want to check this out with you people, you know what I'm saying, with you good subscribers and, you know what I'm saying, and everything, and show y'all, you know what I'm saying, what's really going on out here, and, we taking a look at it, real talk, for real though. Yeah, though, you know what I'm saying, you want to check it out even more. Go over to Vice, finish it up, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, though, it's a very sticky situation that we in here in the 21st century. Definitely dealing with masculinity and femininity and all this. It's like this big ball of confusion. We trying to rearrange the pieces and stuff. We trying to put squares into O's and whatever other shapes into other shapes that we know clearly don't fit. I mean, let's just, but it is what it is, man. Shout out to all my subscribers out there. Mad love to y'all all the time, baby. Yes, if you're new, please hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Also hit that bell if you don't mind too as well. And yeah, like I always say about this time, that, my friends, is the bottom line.
Said to myself, this is the business we've chosen. I didn't ask who gave the order, because it had nothing to do with business.